I'm taking the strap. I'm strapped up.
Seven, what was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 163 of the SZN Podcast. I'm your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, you know the drill by now. Before I kick off the episode, please head over to our Instagram page, which is SZN Podcast, or our Twitter page, which is SZN Pod. You'll see a link in the bio, both of those pages that will take you to where we're situated at streaming platform wise. So yeah, hit that URL, get direct links, and you can follow us on whatever you prefer, guys. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, it's all there for you. Make sure you do that for us, please. Flowz, how you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, man. You ready to talk some boxing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. I think there's only one place to start, really.
Yeah.
The big fight over here this weekend. Leigh Wood defending his featherweight belt against Josh Warrington. Flowz, I said last week that, we thought Warrington was going to get, I think you echoed it as well, that Wood should be putting away Warrington based on the Warrington that we've been seeing recently, of Warrington that we think is past his peak, could be finished, etc. But my God, Flowz, this fight was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
For various reasons, which obviously we'll delve into. And even though Leigh Wood got the predicted KO that I predicted anyways, it was not an easy night's work for him. And one could even say that stoppage was controversial, which we'll also go into. I actually want to give props to Josh Warrington, Flowz. I'm going to start off that. I never thought I would start this episode giving Warrington some praise, but I think he deserves praise and accolades on that performance. I would say that was almost like a throwback Josh Warrington performance, Flowz. To put it bluntly, he had Leigh Wood in hell in there. He had him in hell, bro. I'm not even joking. Like, this was as throwback from the first bell, really, Flowz. I could see that Warrington's really game here. He's really on it. And I suspect why, Flowz. Obviously, a lot of people have written him off recently, us included, I guess. I've said a lot of stuff about him. Obviously, he's a dirty fighter. He's past his prime now. He's kind of getting washed up. How is he getting all these title shots, all that kind of stuff? And it's one of them ones where, cool, you lot all against me. You're all doubting me. I'm going to put in one more massive performance to show you guys that I ain't finished and I still got it. And I can upset the apple cart here because he was the underdog for a good reason. But what I saw in their Flowz was a renewed Warrington with renewed vigor. Someone that, has me against the world, and I'm going to show you guys what I can do still. And I'd say that, yeah, well, when we talk about the stoppage, was he hard done by? We'll talk about it later, Flowz. But yeah, props from me, my starting point, props to Josh Warrington first and foremost. He really boxed out of his skin yesterday.
Yeah. Good fight. Yeah, credit to Josh Warrington because he came to fight. I've been critical of Josh Warrington in his approach, especially in the recent fights where the dirty aspect has been his whole game.
You've been, I know we haven't, especially you've been very vocal about how just filthy he is.
Now look, making it rough and making it ugly is something we encourage certain fighters to do. If that's your game plan, it works. But there needs to be some boxing element behind it. And this time there was boxing behind it. He used a jab, he went to the body. He showed some intelligence in there, really. But I'll be real, when the fight started, if we started from the first rounds,
yes,
I knew the result. I knew the result before watching the fight.
Yes,
I was out, so I didn't catch the fight live.
Yeah.
For the first round, I was like, okay, I can see why Josh Warrington got knocked out.
Yeah, because he started on his usual rush forward. And in that first, obviously, we said Leigh Wood's a good boxer, competent boxer, more than competent, really, who can fight behind the jab, which we saw against Lara, for example. So in that first round, when Josh Warrington was running in, I'm there thinking, same as you, Flowz. I knew the results. I'm there thinking, the knockout. I can see. I know exactly how it's going to come. That's what I had in my mind. He was rushing in, and Leigh Wood was just catching him with a jab, piecing him up with the jab as he came in, countering and whatnot. And obviously Warrington's a tough cookie, so he's taking these shots flush. But it's one of them ones where you don't want to continue taking these shots because Lee Wood, as we've established, is a power puncher as well. He can hit hard. So it's like, cool, you can do this for the first couple of rounds, but it's going to tell in the end. And you're going to get worn down based on his tactic. That's what I thought would happen based on that first round.
That first round isn't the story of the fight.
Now let's take it from round 2 and 3, Flowz. You will carry
that first round, I watched that. I was like, I can see why Warrington gets that, but it wasn't the story of the fight. To be fair to Warrington, in credit to him. I think round 2, I gave round 2 to Wood as well. I think Wood was operating in southpaw from round 2.
Yeah, he switched.
And while it was still cagey, I think he was still using his jab, and Warrington was still coming forward. But he was landing shots as well. He's landing some big shots. But I think I preferred Wood's work. Yeah. I think it's from round 3 where it was hell started for Wood for me.
I like to call it the drowning Flowz, because he started to drown in round 3. He was drowning. And that's because of obviously Josh Warrington tends to fight in, apart from that little spell where he tried to be a boxer a little bit, but for the most part, we know what his strength is. Relentless pressure, high activity, work weight, in and out stuff. And he kind of upped the intensity, and he stayed with that intensity. He didn't let it drop. He stayed with that intensity. And it's Flowz. It's just in and out because it was weird, because it's just like Wood kind of like wilted under the pressure that Josh Warrington was putting him in. Because Josh Warrington, obviously him being a smaller man naturally, he's obviously having to get in. But obviously he seemed to have the speed edge in terms of he was able to get in, close the distance. He would even come in he would jab sometimes and then come in. Boom, 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 combination, intelligent combinations as well, Flowz. It wasn't head hunting, it was body work as well. Head, body, up and down. Changing levels, keeping them guessing, then getting out of there. In, out stuff. And Wood just, I'm seeing him visibly Flowz. He's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then he gets, I can't remember which round it was. There's a round where he got buzzed, he got hurt and stunned. And Warrington, obviously, you know what he's like. He's a rabid dog. So once he sees blood, he goes crazy. Yeah. And Warrington's there backing him up, Wood against the ropes. Warrington's strength as well. When he's got his opponent, he kind of smothers the opponent's work, and he's in close. Boom, boom, boom. I was surprised, Flowz. And obviously I have my theories as to why Wood didn't look strong in there. But I got to give props to Josh Warrington. It was intelligent boxing from him, and it's something we haven't necessarily given him props for, his intelligence before. We've sometimes called him a bit boneheaded in the way he fights, but I saw intelligent work in there in terms of how to, really take the Wood's tools away from him and really put him under pressure and make him drown in there, which is what he was doing, bro. Very impressive.
And to even give Warrington a bit more credit, he knows what he's doing when he's fighting dirty. He knows exactly what he's doing. So it's not like his dirty work is a thought process. He knows what he's doing. But I think that fight shows both of these fighters have limitations. Before Wood's crazy run, we've never really rated Woods. We said he's very much improved.
Facts.
But you can see his limitations. His footwork got sloppy in that third round. He was waiting too much. He was allowing Warrington to close the gap.
Close the gap too easily, almost. And Warrington, he was jabbing in, but a lot of it was lunging in work. He was jumping in. With a jab or with combinations, he'd be jumping in sometimes. And Wood's footwork wasn't slick enough to either pivot or step back, and end up on the ropes, get bombarded. So while I will give credit to Warrington, you could also see the limitations of both fighters in their approaches. One thing I will say though, Flowz, is interesting because we saw Wood against Lara, where we were praising his footwork and his, are you saying that? Can we say that because you said obviously Lara is a lot more limited than Josh Warrington, so he can do that. Basically, he can do that with a Lara, but But Warrington is a bit more savvy, so he can't really do those games. A bit, like Lara also is a pressure fighter, but it's a different kind of pressure compared to Josh Warrington, if you get what I mean. So, yeah. Because against
especially
Lara,
that version of Lara.
Yeah, because against Lara, it was the way Wood was just pivoting and off and football. He was like Mayweather in there. So credit to Josh in that regard, Flowz. For sure. It was alarming to me, Flowz, the way Wood started to drown and to just look fake. Like the jab, which when he wants to, he has a decent jab, had no purchase behind it. His punches and combinations had no purchase behind it. They look weak. He looked super uncomfortable when Josh was sort of getting onto him, landing these big shots. And I think Warrington's the type of fighter, he's kind of the worst fighter to give confidence to. Because, as he starts to build and build and build, he starts to get, madder and madder with it. So there was a lot of talk beforehand, Flowz. I don't know if you saw Wood on the scales, but obviously there has been talk that Wood is struggling to make the featherweight limit now. He is quite big for the division. And on the scales, he looked pretty gaunt, to be fair. A lot of people were saying, wow, this weight cut must have been serious. So that there is that element to it. People are saying that, he is drained at this weight. And I mean, they pretty much said, I think Hearns pretty much said that this is his last fight at featherweight because he's struggling to make the weight limit now. So yeah, that could play into it, to be fair, Flowz, in terms of him being drained, because he looked weak in there. He did look weak. He faded badly. But I don't want to use that as a main excuse for his performance. I think credit has to go to Warrington at the same time. I think Warrington was superb, and it was a throwback Warrington performance. So up until I think from the sixth round, by the sixth round, I've got Warrington. I don't know about you first, but Warrington's ahead on my cards. I've got him winning the fight. He's constantly hurting Wood, buzzing him, and Wood isn't really doing much back in terms of hurting. He's countering sometimes here or there, but there's no pop to his work. There's no pop to his punches. No confidence in his workflow. So I'm thinking, Warrington's ahead here, and if he starts to keep buzzing Wood, it's a shock, but he could potentially stop Wood. I don't think it was going to happen, but the signs from Wood, the body language from Wood is just not looking good to me. But obviously, I knew the result, but I was interested because I'm trying to see where does this stoppage come, because I can't see it right now. And the first sign of bullshit, I don't say the first sign of bullshit, but I think it was the sixth round is it the sixth or seventh round where Warrington gets a point docked? Seventh. So I'm there thinking to myself, okay, to be fair now, the ref has warned Warrington, I think twice prior, or it might have been once prior, about punching in the back of the head. However, Flowz, I still think it was harsh. But if it's within look, I know sometimes some refs are more lenient, some aren't. But I can't help shake the feeling, fact, Flowz, that obviously we know Josh Warrington has a reputation of being a dirty fighter.
Yeah.
And because it's Warrington, the ref is going to be stricter because it's Warrington. Maybe even Woods camp have said, yo, look out for this guy. He's dirty. He bores him with his head, all that kind of stuff. I would like to think, Flowz, that if the amount of times that Warrington infringed on punching the back of the head, if it was the same for Wood, I don't think we'll get to a point docked. I'll be so real. But hey, the rules are the rules, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of, obviously I was paying attention to this because
because you're on to Warrington.
I jokingly predicted that he will get DQ'd for so I was paying attention. He was warned in the first round within the first minute. But it wasn't a timeout warning. He was told, the ref separated him, patted the back of his head, told him not to do it again. Done it again in the first round. Second round, he got a timeout warning. So the ref's timeout warned him. He was warned in the third round for low blow.
Yeah, so that we remember that.
So I was like,
that was wait. I don't think that was a timeout. That was just a ref.
Keep it up. He was told to keep up his shots. I believe in the sixth round, he threw like 3 in a row, and he was throwing a few, but some of these shots weren't like intentional, obvious back of the head shots. Some of them were winging shots.
It was just
Yeah. So it's like some of them were in the clinch. He's punching, he's rabbit punching. Some of them were rabbit punches. When he was from like the third to like the sixth, the back of the head shots, I wouldn't say were clear rabbit punches and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he threw 3 in a row, and then Woods complained in the 6th.
It was a complaint, yeah. I know.
Yeah, he complained in the 6th, and then I think he was rabbit punching in the 7th, and that's where
okay.
the ref attacked. So I hate it because in like the last 3 rounds, he weren't serial rabbit punching and punching back in the head. It weren't like, oh,
it didn't seem like it to me.
Yeah. The flow of the fight changed from the early rounds. Because he was having success in 4, 5, 6. He was fighting well. So the 7th seemed. While I can see why people say it's harsh, I can also see why the ref was like.
Yeah.
I think a final warning would have been fair.
Yeah.
I think a final warning at that point would have been fair. And then if he done it again.
Again, my takeaway Flowz was harsh, but look, the rules are the rules. And I know he'd been pinged previous rounds. Yeah. But it just didn't seem like it was intent. It was within the flow of the fight in terms of it didn't seem like he was doing it on purpose or doing it, but it was just, like I said, those messy clinches where he's letting his hands go. Because that's where he's having his most success, when he's having those messy. So he's not exactly aiming for the back of the head, but obviously Wood's ducking low and that kind of stuff. So it's catching him in that sense. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was headbutting. He wasn't doing his usual just headbutting.
With the head. Yeah. No, it wasn't. He was. Again, as we highlighted, Josh Warrington will try and bend the rules. Obviously, he'll try and do what he can do to get away with stuff. Obviously, if he gets docked a point or whatever, he could stop. But it's down to the ref to be, to enforce these rules and whatnot. So fair enough. But it's interesting. Obviously, once that point got docked, you would think that that'll give Wood some confidence. But you notice when the ref revved him back on, Warrington went crazy again and started piecing Wood up again. So Flowz, I'm thinking, right, it's 10 seconds left. Where does this? Because I know it comes in the 7th. How the hell does this fight get stopped? Bro, we're talking about the final, 3 seconds of the round. Warrington's jumped in, as he's been doing all night, and he's been successful in doing that. But Woods caught him beautifully as he's coming in. Peach of a shot, Flowz. Bust him. He's then obviously seen his hurt visibly. Warrington's thrown another punch. He's still hurt, but his legs are gone. His legs are gone, but he's thrown another punch. Woods dodged it, and then obviously fired off a combination of himself. One, I think, got blocked, but there was 2. It was like the second to last one, Flowz, that really caught him. And then as he's on his way down, he's caught him again. I've said, fair peak. And as he's dropped on the canvas, Flowz, you've heard the bell for the round. So it's right on the bell as he's fell down.
Before we get to the stuff,
go on.
We're getting onto it.
Yeah.
I do feel the point deduction not took some momentum away, but maybe gave Wood some confidence, because after the point deduction, while Warrington was still active, maybe I'm saying this from
go on.
Maybe I'm saying this from a position of knowing what happens, but he started to look a bit tired.
He's so fresh.
Wood was started landing more shots in those spots. The jab was popping Warrington's head back, but Warrington's still coming forward. He's still doing what he's doing. Yeah, it looked to me like Wood was landing more in that round, and maybe Warrington was starting to get a bit tired in that round, because he got up and he went. He did kind of go crazy. Yeah, because Wood against the ropes and was loaded.
I felt that Warrington was still on top, but to me, all it did was it just interrupted the flow. That little stoppage, that little it kind of, the ebb and flow kind of changed a little bit, and maybe that's all Wood needed. As we can see, that's all he needed, because boom, he's done that now. Right on the bell, I'm there thinking, peak. The bell's just gone. Obviously, Warrington has got up. The referee's count. He's gone to his corner, and he's turned. He's away from the ref, and he's turned to face his corner, and the referee's counting, counting. And literally, as Warrington then turns around back to face the referee's then waved it off. My first reaction was, boy, could be harsh, He could have, he looks like he beat I didn't say he beat the count, but he was on his feet. The ref, that round's over, you can give him the stool's there. The stool's out. It's there. You could just let him sit down, take the 30 seconds, obviously, recover for the round, and then boom. If he's still finished, by the time the 8th round starts, you can waive it. But you could give him the benefit of a doubt here. I'm in two minds again, Flowz, because again, we know with countouts and whatnot, the referee will always tell you to face them and present your gloves and whatnot. Look at me, what kind of stuff. The referee will get a good look at you. I don't know if the fact that Warrington wasn't facing the ref, and the only time when he did turn to face the ref, by then it was too late for the ref, and he thought to himself, you know what? Let me wave it off, because I'll be so real, Warrington's legs were gone. He was wobbling all over the place. As he's even gone to the corner, he's wobbly. So my first thought, Flowz, was that was harsh, and you could have given the benefit of a doubt. However, when replaying it and looking at it, Flowz, looking at the state of his legs, I can see why the referee called it. I can see why the referee called it for sure. Me personally, though, Flowz, I would have liked to have maybe given him the benefit of the doubt as the round is over, the stool's there, let him, see out the 30 seconds, see how he looks in the 8th round. I would have liked to have done that happen, but I can't admonish the ref if he felt like because his legs were gone, to be fair, and he didn't look at the ref, he didn't face the ref. There wasn't no, put your hands out, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I know why it leaves a bad taste in people's mouth, but yeah, refs have a job to save fighters, and yeah, it's a tough one, but I think it's the referee is fair in calling it. Flowz, he is. But I personally will let it go. Carry on. What are you, Flowz?
I didn't like the stoppage at all.
Okay.
I'll be so real.
Yeah.
Didn't like it one bit. I feel it's a title fight. The bell's gone. He stood up for the count. He stood up pretty quickly. I think around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He was laid up, but quite rightly, his legs were gone. He wobbled back to his corner.
Yeah.
He's facing his corner, who all stood there. The stool's there. He's in his mind. He's beaten the count. He's up. He's ready to go back to his corner. He's clearly aware that his corner is there. He's present. He's faced his corner, and the count is on 7 or 8 when the ref waves it off.
When the ref waves, yeah,
on 8. So he's already up. So in his mind, he's beat the count. There's still a few seconds left. He turns to face the ref, and usually the ref can go 7, 8, 9. Are you ready to continue?
Yeah.
Face me. Like the ref can stop because he's already beaten the count. He stood up. He's beaten the count. The ref can stop the count whenever. The ref can even say 10. Are you ready? The ref can stop the count whenever, once they stood up, or can continue the count. Continues the count while he's up. He turns around to face the ref. Ref's not even really had a look in his eyes or nothing. Ref's not looked at him.
Yeah.
As soon as he's turned around, the ref's waved it off, because I guess people's argument is that you should be ready to face. You should face the ref, show you're ready to continue. But the round's over in his mind. The round's over. There's nothing to continue to step out of fight. I think in a championship fight, the ref should understand the fighter's mind and let them take the win.
So I'll tell you what I felt like the ref. Yeah, I hear that, Flowz. Again, I don't think that's necessarily the wrong opinion at all.
Yeah.
I think two things. I think the referee, obviously, based on the fact that he didn't see him in terms of the guy was facing away from him.
Yeah.
He's probably looking at the state of his legs because he was still obviously wobbling, sort of holding on to the corner or whatever. He's looking at the state of his legs and he's got to A and thinking to himself, his legs are gone, that kind of stuff. He's not even, he's not faced me. He's not up until the last second. I don't even think that the referee, I think the referee just counted. I don't think he was like, oh, turn and face me. Like, I think he was just counting. And then finally, Warrington heard 8 or whatever, and then turned around. And by then, the referee's thinking, I'm looking at your state of your legs, you're holding on to the corner, you're gone, man. So, boom, potentially, I think that's maybe what the ref felt. But also, yes, it was the end of a round, title fight and whatnot. But as you know, in boxing, Flowz, sometimes the bell wasn't enough to save a fighter sometimes. As in, you've heard the bell, you can still be, counted out even if the bell has gone. It's not a given that, because you made it to the bell and you managed, you've survived. We've seen it many times where fighters have gone down on the bell and still been counted out. So that's not always a given, but
which I think is poor. Which I think you should get, like, if they beat an account, you should give them the opportunity to recover. Obviously,
the magnitude of the fact that it's a title fight, I think that's what weighs into it. It's a huge fight, and he's doing well. So it left a bad taste in my mouth because I'm there thinking to myself, me personally, if I was reffing, I would let this continue. and give him the 30 seconds grace period before beating the count. Even though he doesn't look great, legs look gone.
Yeah.
But I can see why. But I can see why the referee thought, you know what? Yeah, you're a mess here. You have, at 8, I'm there thinking to myself, I'm looking at your legs. Yeah, I gotta call this. So let me just be safe here. Obviously, this is going to be a raging debate in terms of refs being safe flows and are they saving fighters or are they ruining fights. It's something that I think that's going to be consistent within boxing for a while until I guess clearer rules and clearer guidelines are established. It's not the first time we've spoken about bad stoppages this year, is it, Flows? It's definitely going to be the last. So yeah,
but look, what I will say is these refs should give themselves more time. Like, look, like we understand there's a 10 count or whatever.
Yeah,
but you don't need to jump at the decision. Like, you're on 8 and you've waved it off before he's even turned around. Give yourself time. Like we saw, is it Jack Reese for Wilder Fury? Is it Jack Reese who refereed that?
Yeah, it was Jack Reese. Yeah, I think so.
Let him get up.
If he let
walk here, show me at ends. Like, give yourself the opportunity to make the call. Just because I think it's Jack Reese who's asked someone to walk here and they failed to walk here and he's waiting up. We've seen referees say, no. Like, give yourself time to make the right decision. Like, his legs are wobbly, but look into his eyes, feel like you have these checks where you say, hold your fist up, then before your hands.
They even touch it. Yeah.
Walk here. It's the end of the round. So, like, give yourself time. And it doesn't look good with the point stoppage before because that's already
that's what made it already that's what made me think there could be some ball here because obviously that point I mean, as you said, it was harsh but within the rules. But
Warrington's winning on the scorecards as well.
He deservedly so. He was winning the fight. It's unlucky. It's harsh. I feel for him. And Lee Wood has he's done it before. Michael Conlon. Down on all cards, got the knockout. He's somehow done it again. He's somehow done it again, and found something to help him win, whether it's like a controversial decision or, I mean, credit to Wood. The shot and the setup was brilliant. How he got him, because that was his only success the whole fight, apart from the first round. That was his only success. So he pulled out the bag, in the time where I didn't think it would happen. I feel sorry for Josh Warrington because now obviously his camp are saying something about, that's it, he's done, he's walking away from boxing now, he's had enough, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like they felt like it was like a last chance sort of thing, this one here. It's a harsh way for him to go. But yeah, man, boxing flows.
You know what I will say about Lee Woods? What's it called? Pokemon? That bide. Bide?
Which one is that?
Bide's the one where.
Oh, what? Wait, they take damage and then.
Take damage and you do double the damage.
And then you double, I remember that move.
So for a few times, you just take
take
damage and then you do double the damage you've received.
Yeah,
it seems like he's got that move in his locker because he was taking hellacious beatings against Conlon, and in this fight,
face bloodied from a punch as well.
Rocked and wobbled, hurt.
Bro. But I think Wood will move up together for sure. He put it together when it mattered. To be fair to him, I enjoyed that fight, Flows. That was a really good fight. I think, what we would see now is Wood moves up. So go on.
Would you want them to run it back?
I would. Yeah, I would.
At the same way or up?
Thing is, say up suits Wood more though. That gives him the advantage. I feel like it should be done at featherweight, but I'd understand now that obviously because they all use that as an excuse. He was weight drained, he's struggling, he really can't make the weight anymore, he looked on the scales, blah blah. So because of that, it won't be surprising now if they say now we've got to move up. If Warrington is willing to take him up at super featherweight, then fair play. But again, why would he? That suits Wood down to a T. Wood is a natural bigger man and that kind of stuff. So I would like for them to run it back at featherweight if they can, but I don't expect Lee Wood to do that. I think he was in for, he like I said, Josh Warrington dragged him to hell almost. So feel for him, but that's boxing, man. It's deep.
Yeah, great fight.
Good fight. I enjoyed it.
Shout out to Warrington.
Hey, Warrington should stick around. I know that they're talking about he might go, but he might have something for the big fights. Clearly, he's still got something.
Look, he's suffered concussion numerous times. Maybe that's played a factor in the ref stopping it, because we've seen him hurt before. We've seen him badly hurt, and it continued. I have no doubt that Warrington could have seen the end of the fight, based on what I've seen him pull off before.
He's a warrior. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I also think the stopping was harsh. But I think he would have touched the canvas again, based on how. But he always gets up. He always puts up a fight. But look, great fight. Shout out to Wood. Shout out to Warrington. They can both stick around. Still want to see Warrington Lara again.
Of course you do. Hey, if he sticks around, it might happen. It might happen. Both matchroom as well. So
yeah. And that version of Lara that we saw is beatable.
Facts. He should look at Lara and think to himself, you know what? I've got something for you now. Why not? Yeah. On the undercard flow, did you catch Breakhouse versus Harper? That was also supposedly controversial as well. Yeah. Go on. Do you want to quickly just give a rundown on that one?
Yeah, it was. I thought a draw was fair. It was given a draw, majority draw.
I thought it was. I was struggling to see the controversy. I'll be so real.
I heard Eddie Hearn shouting, saying he can't believe it. I think majority of people had Breakhouse with it. So that's why. So I think it weren't the barnstorming that we expect from women's boxing.
Let me just say this quickly, Flowz. It was the most boring women's boxing fight I've seen in a long time. I probably ever. It was dry. I don't know why. It was super dry. Very boring. And
for 2-minute rounds, if you're dry, then it's hard to score. So I felt a draw was fair. I don't see any controversy at all, but apparently there was.
Bro, I looked at the way people were shouting. I said, "Huh?" I watched that and said, "You're joking." That it was a bit of a scale fight, like you said, hard to score. And for me, I thought a draw was fair, perfectly fair. If they want to run it back, they can do that, but they better make it more exciting, because that was a tough women's fight to get through. I swear. And women's fights, like you said, 2-minute round, 10 2-minute rounds, it's easy peasy, fist flying. But this one was just cagey. Not many clean shots landed. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. But shout out to Terry Harper though. And both Breakhouse as well. At 42, she's still going. Flowz, did you catch Joe Smith Jr. And Zodo Ramirez? What are your thoughts on that one?
Zodo can box, man. Big guy can box. I'll take that. Good fight. I liked what I saw from Zodo. I'll say that from the get-go.
Do you think he has a home at the cruiserweight division as a threat now?
He looks big. I still think he looks
still looking big.
I still think he looks big that way. Which I think it suits him. He looks strong. He looked mobile still, which was good. I don't really rate Joe Smith Jr. too tough. I don't know what you think of him. I think you said, you see.
I've never rated him, but I will say one thing about Joe Smith Jr. He's a tough cookie. And he showed he's a tough cookie in that fight as well. And I think Zodo's movement was brilliant. Well, for the first 7 rounds, it was a 10-rounder. 7 rounds, Zodo's movement was fantastic. Surprisingly good, actually. He was moving around all the time on his feet, counter shots, leading with a jab. Joe Smith Jr. is fairly basic in the way that he fights, but he's tough. And one thing about Joe Smith Jr., he's never had the quick. He can bang, but he's never had the quickest hands. His hand speed isn't great. So Zodo was able to beat him to the punch a lot of the times, but Smith still had his success, and when he was able to pin Zodo down and land these big bombing right hands and whatnot. And I think for me, like I said, the first 6-7 rounds, it was Zodo for sure. And it might have been from the 7th round where Joe Smith Jr. had a big rally and he started to come on strong and catch Zodo. I think Zodo faded from round 7 onwards, Flowz, 8 onwards. I think he's faded. So that's something maybe for him to watch, because maybe he moved around a lot. So maybe that came back to bite him. But in that fade, Joe Smith Jr. has come on strong now. Again, credit to Joe Smith. He took some beating, but he was still strong and competitive in there. And I think it was good to, Zerdo showed that he's got a really good chin because Joe Smith Jr. hit him with some big bombs late on.
Yeah.
And Zerdo stayed up. I think there was one time he might have been buzzed, but he was able to rally and come on strong. And he did what every great fighter does. In the 10th round, he faced adversity and he rallied and, sort of put the combinations back together again. So, yeah, man, it was an enjoyable fight, but I expected Zerdo to win. Joe Smith Jr. is beatable. And if you consider yourself someone that wants to make a name for yourself and, he's someone you should be putting away. And I think it was a good performance from him. So shout out to both guys.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely at home at cruiserweight, I think Zerdo for sure. And he's on. Oh yeah, it's division. It's one of the divisions we don't really like, but yeah, no, he'll be a test for people for sure.
Yeah, well, we've said that the division is looking tastier now. With the people, the up and comers, and other guys who can't beat Bivol and Beterbiev.
Yeah,
so, I think Zerdo's a good addition. So yeah, maybe cruiserweight division is a sleeping giant right now.
With the addition of Zerdo, it makes it be interesting for sure. And that was he's now mandatory shot for WBA, which is Gumalerian's title. So
someone get that belt off him, man.
So I actually want him to take that belt off Gumalerian because that guy, as I said, is not real. So yeah, we need to snatch that belt up real quick. And then maybe Zerdo will be, he's the zone. So we know that they can make a nice unification with any other zone. Actually, the zone have none of the belts at the moment. Wait. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, Apatai. Yes. So Zerdo Apatai can be made. And I like that fight. That'll be an exciting fight.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Zerdo. Shout out to Joe Smith Jr. Good fight. Nice little cruiserweight debut for both of the guys. Let's fast forward to next week quickly. Isn't much, guys, but there's funny enough. Like I said, there's a cheeky, sneaky little middleweight unification. It's funny because we don't really know much about this, but we haven't really been seeing much fanfare. Obviously, middleweight division for us is one of our stinky divisions, as we've
the deadest division. That is the deadest division.
Flowz, you said that because before you said that's cruiserweight. You said that it's. But
the cruiserweights have all fought recently. They've all actually fought.
Yeah.
They've all actually got the ring. They've made something happen.
Yeah, there's a bunch of divisions that we've earmarked on this pod as being very smelly. 160 is definitely 100% one of them. As you say, Flowz, it could even be number one. So yeah, very, very stinky division, but there's a sneaky unification fight going on between Janibek Alimkhanuly, who is the WBO champion. He's the Kazakh guy. The new Triple G, as they're trying to sort of pitch him as. And he's up against a fighter called Vincenzo Gualtieri, who, even though his name suggests it, he's not Italian. Well, he's probably Italian descent, obviously, but he's German. Born and raised in Germany. He's Italian descent. But he has the IBF strap, which he won. I'm checking when he won it. He won it in July this year against the Brazilian Falcao. And Janibek won the WBO Denzel Bentley, when he fought Denzel Bentley last year. So
he was elevated, wasn't he? Because
he was already interim.
Yeah, and he was elevated
and then
Triple G vacated.
Triple G, yeah.
Did Jaime McGee? No. I'm sorry, Jaime McGee is lucky that another way. Yeah.
Jaime McGee. But yeah, those are the two. Yeah, so IBF, WBO. Credit. Well, I mean, like I said, listeners, obviously, if you.
Sorry, I just remember why I mentioned Jaime McGee. Jaime McGee was ordered to fight this dude, and he turned it down. That's why. That's
Jaime's like 5th or 6th up. I've lost count. I've actually lost count because he's been ordered to fight bare people, and he said no. Yeah. So, yeah, Jaime McGee was ordered to fight for a belt like 2 years ago. Anyways, the point is, these guys aren't really known. So, listeners, obviously, if you want to sort of, like as I said, the middleweight division is, as we said, it's in order of a retool right now. We're looking for someone to maybe, grab the bull by the horns and actually, take charge in that division. And this is one step to doing that. So credit to both these guys for for unifying quickly. And this is a nice platform for them to sort of get their name out there as, the face of the new face of the division. Now that Triple G's gone, I mean, Jamal's still there, Charlo, but, he's not really fighting right now. So yeah. yeah, listeners, might want to tune into this fight if you want to get some, insight into both of these guys, and to see who looks good and who doesn't. I think obviously Janibek Beck I think he is the favorite. So I probably expect him to take that. I haven't actually never seen this Gualtieri guy fight Flowz, so I generally don't know what to expect. But I'll tune in because, like I said, these are two guys that are now the faces of the division. So we got to see what they're like, innit? And yeah, just for reference, obviously Jamal Charlo's got the WBC, and WBA is being held by Erislandy Lara. So yeah, a division that definitely needs a bit more, pizzazz. Jaime Munguia should be the face of the division. We'll keep it a buck, but yeah, he's on nonsense right now. So yeah, it's left to one of these guys.
Your boy,
Chris Eubank Jr. No, he's not. He's not interested.
Now's his time. If anything,
actually is his time.
now you must leave all the bends alone. Focus, get sight, achieve something, please.
Win a title for once in your life. Anyways, forget that guy, man. He doesn't care about that. In fact, he does. These guys ain't giving him money. They're not getting bread for him. Apart from Charlo, a lot of these guys are getting bread for him. So he ain't gonna look to fight these guys.
You know what's crazy? So this guy, you grew up rich. You weren't poor. You never really needed the bank. Why are you chasing money? Oh man.
Anyways, forget that guy, man. I don't count him as a factor when we talk about 160 pounders, bro. I don't count him as a factor. Yeah. Jaime Munguia should be ashamed of himself, I swear. I'm so sorry, but he should be ashamed of himself because even for him, this division is right there for him. He can beat most of these guys. Yeah, I don't really know how long these guys will last. Obviously, if one guy, let's say Janibek Beck takes all the belts, and obviously he becomes the face. But yeah, man, I feel like it's still missing something, this division. I'll just wait for flipping maybe Xander Zayas to move up at some point. He can take the division by storm. He's someone that I've got a lot of high hopes for. So yeah. But yeah, shout out to Gualtieri, shout out to Janibek Beck. We're gonna have a new unified middleweight champion come this weekend. So yeah, look forward to seeing that. The other fight that's worth mentioning, Flowz, Tszyu, new WBO champion at light middle. Tszyu, his first defense of his belt, and he's against Brian Mendoza. We've talked about Mendoza before, Flowz. His last fight, well, not his last fight, but I don't know if you remember, he lost. It was his last fight. He beat Fendora.
Yes.
Remember, he was losing that fight. He was down on all the cards, and then he was able to drop him like dirtily, and yeah, stopped him. He also beat Rosario as well. If you remember, Rosario was at 154. He was a champion at 154 as well. Stopped him. Yeah. So Mendoza is dangerous. He can punch. But Tszyu, he's been on a bit of a mean streak, Flowz, in terms of like he's especially in front of that Australian home crowd. He goes crazy with it, man. He comes in. He's got a real mean streak right now. And he keeps making these statements. So in front of raucous home crowd, Flowz, I expect Tszyu to go in there and really mean business and, put on a show in his first defense of his WBO strap. So, yeah, I'm expecting Tszyu to blast him out, at some point.
Yeah.
Or, really damage him anyway. So, yeah. It's been a long time coming. I would have wished that Tszyu was able to fight Charlo for the belts. Obviously, that hasn't happened, but he deserves the belt, to be honest. And yeah, Tszyu's been very, very vocal, Flowz, and saying now, it's his division now, it's his era. So he's going to look to put on a show for his fans. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what he comes with.
Yeah, this should be a good fight. Given the scalps Mendoza's taken, and the scalps Tszyu's taken, it sounds like it should be a cracking fight.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good win for either guy. So I think it's a good fight in terms of adding to the experience, prepping him for a future Jamel Charlo fight.
Yeah, you still want that fight, yeah?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Mel says he's moving back down, so I think we talked about what next for Mel. He should fight the winner of this fight and then fight Bud.
Yeah,
and then he can call it a day. But yeah. If Tszyu can win this, beat Mel, then they don't say, Bud, you come see me.
Yeah.
Bud supposedly wants to be undisputed.
Yeah.
Why not start with Tszyu?
Yeah.
So yeah.
it's Flowz. It's funny you say that. If let's say Mel fights, okay, beats. Let's say he takes care of Tszyu, whatever, then fights Crawford, then he can call it a day. You know what? Maybe Mel shouldn't call it a day. Maybe he should move to 160 and fight his brother. Seeing as they beefed out.
They have a funny relation. They're always go over something.
Yeah. But now they're trying to beef now because the beef is supposedly serious now. Even though they look like they pieced up in the back off, obviously during the fight. Before the Canada fight. But hey, man, I would love to see Charlo versus Charlo. That'd be hilarious. That'd be so funny. So obviously I know it's probably never gonna happen, but hey, man, that one could dream, right? Charlo versus Charlo. Let's see if Tony Harrison claims that Mal used to beat you up. It's true. Oh man, but Tszyu, I expect him to come through this test. Flowz, nice. It's good first defense. Good opponent to have his first defense with. Hopefully, we do see him share the ring with Jamal Charlo at some point. For sure. I think like I said, he worked for that opportunity. He never got it. But, I think it's there for him now because Charlo, of course, we have to go back to 154. Where else is he going to go? For real. Yeah. So, man, that's all to look forward to next week, Flowz. Just decent under the radar fights. Bigger fights will come following week. But, let's
talk about what's your cousin's fight.
I'm talking Boatti. I'm talking Boatti Aziz, bro. Oh wait. What's? Oh wait, you're talking about? No, we're not talking about that. He's not my cousin.
You plug your cousin at least.
Nah, he's not. First of all, he's not my cousin. Second of all, we're not talking about that nonsense fight. I got nothing to say about that. Wait, are any boxers on the undercard though?
You're not calling Tommy Fury a boxer though? I don't think so. I think it's all
okay.
Influence and stuff.
Influence and stuff. Okay.
Well,
let me quickly check. Is it Matchroom?
Nah, it's the Zone, but it's KSI's promotion company. I believe, whatever it's called.
Okay, fair. Fair. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can find where I can find some sort of
I don't think there's any boxers.
Oh no, it's not. No, you're right. Yeah. I've just seen the chief supporters Logan and Dylan. So there's no boxes on this. Yeah, fair enough. All right, cool. We will talk about that. All right, cool, Flowz. Well, this has been episode 163 of the SZN Podcast. Once again, I'll be your boy Cav.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, keep running them streams and supporting us. Peace.
I'm taking a strap. I'm strapped up.
What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.